difference is here is, like, I think conflating what is going on and what's happened with Salman Rushdie with JK Rowling is absurd to begin with, because obviously Salman Rushdie, this is a different kettle of fish.
Yes, political ideology.
Yes, but it's a different kettle of fish altogether, and he has been stabbed. I know Zaf Rushdie, he's a friend of mine, and obviously it's terrifying, and I completely agree with everything you just said about that. But I think, like, dragging in JK Rowling into this and saying it's any kind of similarity...
Well, she was dragged in because an extremist, a terrorist extremist, made a direct death threat
I agree in that, but that wasn't a trans person saying that. That has nothing to do with her the fight with the trans community.
No,
but it's not.
It's not as another example.
It is not similar at all.
You cannot say what you think.
Yes, of course, but because what she said was, in my opinion, completely wrong and completely out of order.
What
JK Rowling said in the past.
What she said?
What she said?
She conflated being a trans woman with being a sexual predator. And that's exactly what she did. And
What?
that is not.
What?
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Many times.
She is a victim of sexual assault.
Yes, that's got nothing to do with her argument with trans people.
Where she conflated trans people with sexual offenders. All she said
even
is
when
that
she was
as a victim of sexual assault, she believes in the protection of safe spaces for women. And you're saying that is her conflating.
My problem is that in the last 10 years, there has been no change in the...
You're shouting.
No,
JK
but if you talk over me, I will shout, Carol, because you're talking over me.
You sound hysterical.
What I'm saying is that there has been no change since the Equalities Act in 2010 for trans people to be using the toilets for as much as they want, and it's only in the last couple of years that it's become a huge problem, and JK Rowling has piped up against it. But I don't want to talk about JK Rowling. This is about Salman Rushdie, and it's a whole different kettle of fish. I'm sorry,
I don't think it is.
No.
I do not think it is. I think it is the intolerance of the woke brigade who will not stand up anymore for the freedom of speech of authors, because that's all JK Rowling is asking for.
That is not the same as what's happened to Salman Rushdie.
Let me give you an example here. The Chocolat author Joanne Harris, who is also the chairman of the Society of Authors, mocked JK Rowling after she received that death threat. She posted a facetious Twitter poll asking, fellow authors, have you ever received a death threat, credible or otherwise? Yes, hell yes, no, never. Show me, damn it. Now, she later did delete the tweet and admitted she had got the tone wrong. But that is the woman who is meant to be standing up to protect authors, mocking JK Rowling being threatened by a terrorist.
And we should actually put it in the thing. JK Rowling was also, there were trans activists who were trying to get her sacked from her publishers because they said she was trans.
Yes.
They were trying to ruin her career, trying to get rid of her
exactly. And so where Sam this relates completely to Salman Rushdie is that when the Satanic Verses was published in the late 80s, what did the literary community do? They rallied around. They hosted events where they read Salman Rushdie's book on stage, knowing full well that they could be the target of terrorists. Bookshops were actually firebombed because they refused not to stop the Satanic Verses. And Sam, a translator, the Japanese translator of the Satanic Verses, was brutally murdered because he had gone through with his work. Now, where is that solidarity around JK Rowling?
Because they're not even on the same ballpark. They're not on the same ballpark. You can't see the Satanic Verses on the same ballpark as the Goblet of Fire. Don't be ridiculous.
It's not about that.
What?
It's about saying that JK Rowling has a right to a controversial position, although personally I don't think it's controversial at all.
And she does have a right to say that.
Just as Salman Rushdie does.
The death threats are not in the same vein, and that is the whole point. Friends of mine on Twitter have had death threats up the wazoo for just appearing on a reality show. It's not the same.